All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. You're here to learn more about the Master of Science in Computer Science. Today, I've got a lot of great information to share with you and a lot of wonderful folks to introduce you to. So, for the sake of time, I think we'll just go ahead and get started. We have a pretty packed agenda. We're going to talk about the computer science program, the curriculum, faculty research. We're going to talk about Brown University and all of the excellent master student resources we have available. And then we're going to talk about the application process. So that being said, we can go ahead to the next slide and start doing some introductions. Actually, before we start with introductions, I just want to make a note that if you do have questions, and we hope you do, please submit them using the Q&A function on your Zoom toolbar. That's how we're going to collect and organize the questions for the session today. So that being said, I think we can go ahead and kick off introductions with Nikos.
Thank you, Victoria. Thanks for putting this great information session together. Hello, everyone. My name is Nikos Triantopoulos. I'm the Program Director of the Masters in Computer Science at Brown University, and I'm very happy to be talking about our program. Next, I would like to have Alan, our Deputy Program Director, say a few words.
Oh, you're muted, Alan.
There we go. Thanks, Nikos. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever I happen to be. I'm Alan Eustace. I serve as Deputy Director of the program, and I'm a faculty member in computer science.
Awesome. Tara, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello. Nice to see everyone. I'm Tara. I am a graduate student affairs specialist who helps support the program here at Brown. So I will be one of the faces and emails that I hope you'll reach out to if you have any questions following this information session. If you have any questions along the way or during the program, myself and Michelle, who you'll hear from soon, will be happy to help.
And Michelle, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Barchi, and I assist with the master's program, and I'm also part of the student employment program in computer science if you have any questions about student payroll. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Jacob, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey everyone, I'm Jacob, and I was a master's student at Brown University. I graduated 2025, so basically several months ago. Right now, I'm a PhD student at MIT ECS. I'll be sharing more of my experience at Brown later.
All right, awesome. And my name is Victoria Bray. I am the Associate Director of Recruitment, and I am here to talk to you about Brown University, master-specific resources, and have lots of other great information to share with you about the application process. So with that being said, I will hand things over to Nikos to talk more about computer science at Brown.
Thank you, Victoria. I will kindly ask you, when appropriate, to move to the next slide. So I would like to share some information about our program. And I think that the right question to help you answer is why you may want to study for a master's degree in computer science at Brown University. Other than joining an Ivy League school, I think what really makes this program special is that joining our department, you will be joining a world-class faculty specializing in many research areas that are relevant in today's computer science reality. We have a program that by design offers much flexibility in making the curriculum your own. I will say more information about this shortly. And we are very proud that the quality of our program is such that it is reflected by the success of our graduate student. I'll say a few words about this as well. And perhaps, why not, I would add that Providence, Rhode Island, the smallest state in US, it's already itself a good city with a lot of things going on, job opportunities. At the center, perhaps, of New England, it's a great location as well. Can we move to the next slide, please? So Our department, it's fair to say that is characterized by a growth in many, many aspects, not only numbers, as I depict here in this slide, but in leading presence at Brown University. We have a large body of faculty, 54 full-time faculty that teach and research. We have some affiliated faculty, 9, and just to give you an idea, the last 4 academic years, our faculty size increased by 5, 1, 2, and most recently 5 faculty members. We're certainly in the growing direction. More importantly, we are not a department without students, and I'm happy to say that here we have a growing and largest campus footprint with about 1,200 undergraduates majoring in CS, about 270 master students. We hope that you will be the one coming in a year from now, and about 130 PhD students. And collectively, our department offers high quality education and research, very impactful research. You can see through our website that we offer more than 95 graduate level courses. These are courses that once you join our program, you will be eligible to elect to take. And there are more than 15 research areas. Can we move to the next slide, please? A few more words about our faculty. They teach relevant to practice courses, and proudly, I have to say that you will see the actual world-famous faculty in the classroom. And typically, the size of the class is small, and we do not have courses that are only for master students. By joining Brown CS, you will be one of us, as I explained in the previous slide. They conduct cutting-edge research, and importantly for a master student, there are often some research opportunities. You will have the opportunity to engage to some research if you are interested in that. More importantly, from the beginning, you will be assigned the faculty member as your program advisor, and this is for real. You will get help through this faculty about your study plan or any other career-related advice, planning, etc. We have an open door policy, and the faculty is easily accessible. We are in the same building, 3 floors. Everything happens in what I called in the previous slide as our academic home. And of course, our faculty has strong connections and reputation in industry, something that is important for you after you graduate. On the right side, just a glimpse, a subset of the many achievements that our faculty has produced in the last year. Please visit our news webpage and to see more information about what's going on in our department. Next slide, please. This is a brief summary of the research areas, just to complete the description of what the department is and what we do. This is not an exhaustive list. Again, I invite you to search through our web pages to see a more accurate, more refined of this list of active research areas, and more importantly, to see how interconnected they are. The same faculty may be easily focusing on more than one areas. For instance, myself, my primary research area is computer security or system security, but recently I'm very active in the AI machine learning area, just to give you an example. Next slide, please. Focusing a little bit now, shifting our focus to the program. You are in this info session because you are interested in completing a master's in science in computer science. And in order to do that, you have to successfully complete 8 courses that you will choose, subject to some program requirements. What I want in the next slides what message I want to convey to you is that it's not only about satisfying the program requirements, or that is to say, surviving the program. More importantly, by design and with constant attention and help whenever needed, we want you to really make the curriculum in your study plan individual, best meeting your needs. I want you to own the program, the curriculum, and overall, by taking advantage of anything that we offer to add value to your investment. In other words, to thrive by the time that you will graduate from our program. Next slide, please. So I have the information in the slides for you to browse or to better look for more information as you perhaps see the recording. But I want to focus on a few things. We don't want to go over technical details. The formal program requirements are actually in the web page. But there are 2 components. We partition the 8 courses that you need to take and successfully complete into 2 groups. The basic component consists of 6 courses, the advanced component of 2 courses. All courses that you will take, each one of these 8 courses should be mid-level or advanced level, what I refer to as a grad level, right? Eligible for you to take. The 6 courses can be either mid or advanced level, and at least 3 of them must be offered by our department, but there is an important flexibility that you can take up to 3 courses that are not offered by our department, but they relate to computer science. The 2 advanced component courses should be advanced courses. Technically, this means 2000 level courses, and can either be 2 courses that on specific topics in which you want to dive in and specialize, or they can correspond to a master's research project. I'll talk about this soon. Zooming out a little bit, the big picture I want you to keep in mind is that by design, this structure in our curriculum offers the possibility to be very flexible in selecting which courses you want. You can generalize through the basic component courses, you can specialize through the advanced component courses, and on the right side, I have some options. You may want to survey broad CS subjects or explore CS-related areas, focus on a given CS area, or engage in CS research. Next slide, please. This is a visual representation of how you may want to think about how to choose your 6 basic courses. We will help you. There is an interesting and up-to-date partition of our courses into research areas. On the bottom left, you see these areas. So you may want to think about dividing these 6 courses into courses that are offered by our department versus those that do not. And for those that are offered by our department, you can use this list of areas as a guidance in order to refine your individual curriculum there. On the other side, when you think about a course not offered by the CS department, you can go as wide as taking an art, humanities, or policy course, as long as it relates to computer science, or even a course from non-Brown, outside Brown. Actually, we have a cross-registration agreement with Harvard and RISD. RISD is the Rhode Island School of Design, close to campus, and you can take a course from there. Next slide, please. Finally, the advanced component, I mentioned two options. On the left side, you can think about taking two specialized courses, especially if you want to build your expertise and perhaps find a job in the industry or government. On the right side, there is the research project option. If you are thinking or you want to keep open the option of becoming a researcher, you can take two special independent study courses with the same faculty that you choose. This faculty will serve as your research advisor, and for 2 semesters, you will conduct research in collaboration with this faculty member towards a project that by the end of this, you will have to submit a report. Usually, more often than not, the quality of such work is such that there is a corresponding paper that the team will submit, and you may end up having a published paper by the time you graduate with a master's degree from our program. Next slide, please. Additionally, there is an optional requirement, what we call professional track. And this allows students to gain extracurriculum experience through 1 or more full-time internships. The time is flexible, 1 month up to 5 months. This means that if you're really into this and you choose this track, you can start having your first internship in the first winter break, 1 month, then follow up with 3 months in the summer in between, and add 1 more last month of internship in the second winter break. Normally, an internship will be hosted in a company. You will find a job offered by industry, but very often I would say that there are opportunities from universities. Importantly, once you have successfully completed this requirement, the professional track will be recorded in your full transcript once you graduate for whatever value this brings. So this makes this option of interest to all of our students, but I will stress that it is particularly interesting for our international students, because this is the way through which you can gain professional experience through an internship, given the fact that we will help you once you have found a job to get your work authorization, technically speaking, through the process of CPT or OPT. Next slides, please. The program length, typically, it takes 2 years for these 8 courses to be completed on a 2 per semester schedule. Sometimes students choose to accelerate a bit on a 2-3-3 course schedule. It's important to say, if we think about the other direction, can you really be in the program for longer? Well, yes, one can be a part-time student by taking, for instance, 1 course per semester, with the exception of international students. This will not be possible in this case, or domestic students that have a loan. There may be some consequences with respect to when this loan becomes due. Next slide, please. I want to emphasize that research should not be only thought as the possible option for the advanced component through the research project. It is an integral part of your studies. It will be an integral part of your studies in our program. If you are curious about state-of-the-art technologies, cutting-edge technical advances that our faculty are working on, you are encouraged to learn more. And if you want to be engaged with research, after all, many courses have a research component. And there is a link to a page where actually often faculty members will advertise some research opportunities, but more generally, you will have the opportunity to talk to faculty, listen to any talks or join any group meetings, and even taking the courses. In general, there are so many opportunities to learn more about what's going on, and if you choose to be engaged. Next slide, please. Let's talk a little bit about our evaluation process. We are proud that we maintain high standards for our program, and therefore, these are the general guidelines. We look for outstanding students who have succeeded in challenging CS coursework, and we can assess that they will be also successful towards completing our program. As prerequisites, we are looking to see that a successful applicant has completed the following list of courses. This is not 100% necessity. There may be an outstanding student who, for whatever reason, perhaps misses one of these courses. We will overall assess the applicant, and we can make, of course, exceptions, because at the end of the day, we want to assess on merit-based, of course, criteria, how promising it will be, the prospect to successfully complete our program. We will also need 3 references, preferably from CS faculty, again, not necessary, that can talk about your academic performance and research activities, if any. Next slide, please. Importantly, I want to mention that there is some financial aid that we provide to our students. There are, first of all, some scholarships that are available based on merit or need. Already the application offers the possibility for you describing perhaps your individual circumstances with respect to a need-based kind of aid, requested aid. But on top of that, we also have merit-based funding with scholarship to up to 50%. Also, our students, once join our programs, they can be employed in part-time jobs, up to 20 hours per week. We're talking about TA-ships or RA-ships. Just to give you an idea, this semester, we have 21 students being hired as TAs and 3 as RAs. Again, these are not full-time jobs, part-time jobs, but it's important to be considered as an option when it comes to the financial aspect of joining our program. Next slide, please. We are very, very proud with the achievements of our students, graduate students, and our alumni. This is, again, a non-exhausting list of distinctions for Fulbright finalists, Rhodes Scholars, recipients of awards like NSF Graduate Research Fellowship, Norman Merovitz 81 Award, AMIA Spotlight Award, to other achievements like the most recent, one of our 2025 graduate students was in a group that published at the top, very, very top of one of the most prestigious conferences for visual computing, CVPR. We had graduates joining the NASA teams for making imagery more accessible, and others that won the ACM Gordon Bell Prize for some groundbreaking advancements with respect to system architecture, the exaflop barrier that is now broken. Next slide, please. Remember earlier when I talked about the advanced component, that perhaps what you can imagine being your career path, a more industry-related concentration or research-related. Here I would like to offer some concrete data from 2018 and onward, up to our 2023 cohort, those who just graduated last May. On the left side, for space restriction reasons, I had to be more creative here. You can see the job titles of some of our graduate students, the jobs that they achieved, secured after completing our program. And on the right side, a list of places that some of our graduate students pursue their career as PhD students. Next slide, please. And finally, we're very proud that according to most recent surveys and data analysis, we still enjoy this 100 perfect satisfaction coming from past graduates in the question whether Brown prepared them for their current career.
So before we get
Thank you,
started with Jacob, there's some questions in the Q&A that I think we want to address. Alan, do you want to do those or do you want me to?
If Victoria, if you could beat them out, that'd be great.
Awesome, thanks. So there's a question about, the master's project path and whether or not there are any examples of what a successful project looks like in robotics or HRI. Do you have any examples of any master's projects in that sphere, Nikos?
Great question. The answer is yes. We typically projects that are submitted, successfully completed, are submitted, we maintain a web page for them. So there is such a page that I'm happy to add to the chat, and you can take a look of what actually complete projects looks like. But otherwise, I would say that the responsibility of planning, formatting the agenda for the project, or defining the milestones, and of course, approving the successful completion about falls to the faculty member who advises the student. And of course, this is a conversation that the faculty member has with the student. So I could not really describe what an example for these particular research areas. But I invite everyone to visit that webpage where we list our projects.
And at the end of the session, I'll make sure to share a link once I'm not sharing my screen to that website for sure. For folks who are interested in the professional track, can they still do research?
Absolutely. This is an optional additional requirement. Sorry if this was not clear. So note that the internships are scheduled during time that there are no semesters, there are not courses that the students take. So this is something that can happen, as an extra component, curriculum component. Therefore, you can now imagine of all these different possibilities. Anything that I described with respect to the basic and advanced component with the professional track and with the professional track.
Fantastic, thank you. And then one last question for folks who are interested in the research-based masters. How much prior research experience should folks have to prepare themselves for the admission process for the research-based masters?
Great question. I don't think there is any prerequisite with respect to this. Otherwise, I would have added that in the corresponding slide. It is true that a great majority of the students who join our program happen to have some prior research-related experience as a course project or as an internship, etc. But this is not by no means any requirement. The important thing is for incoming student to try to learn about different faculty members, the areas they are experts, the type of courses they offer, and of course try to assess their own, preferences and try to be in contact with these faculty members, and perhaps the faculty members can provide at this point more guidance with respect to what it takes. Perhaps successful completion of an advanced version of the course that they offer may be a prerequisite, or perhaps there is a specific list of such requirements that a faculty member may be seeking. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'll just sneak one more in, since it's on sort of topical to what we're talking about now. What is the process and timeline for matching a student with a research advisor who specifically, is in their area of interest?
I would like to defer this question to Alan.
Great. And as we bring Jacob into the conversation, we'll hear a bit more about student research and his own journey. Generally speaking, the first semester you're here at Brown, you're going to be focused on your coursework and getting acclimated to how Brown operates. Probably it's a different place than you're used to. And adjusting your own work schedule. But at the same time, you can be attending research talks, starting to get a feel for the more detailed level of the work that's going on, having some conversations. So all that could lead to beginning some research in your second semester here. But there's no requirement that it start that early. You can explore your entire first year and get settled into 2 semesters of work, research work the following year. So there's a lot of flexibility there based on how specific your interests are and how quickly you can find the right opportunity. So,
and if I may add quickly, in case this was not obvious, thank you, Alan. There are 2 different types of advisors. From day one, you will have a program advisor, the go-to faculty member person to help you with everything academically. And if you choose so, to engage with research through the advanced component option of a research project, you may have a research advisor who may be the same as your program advisor.
Great. So let's get our conversation with Jacob underway here. It's just fantastic to have either a current student or even better, an alum who's experienced the whole Brown master's program from start to finish, and as you heard in the introductions, is now firmly established in a very prestigious PhD program, just a short train ride north at MIT. So Jacob, I know you were. We're going to start kind of earlier in your life, which is kind of where everybody else is in this webinar. You were an undergrad CS major. Tell us a little bit about how you focused your work as an undergrad, and then just keep going and talk about your journey when you came to Brown, because I think you've taken advantage of some of the flexibility that Nikos has described.
Yeah, sure. So I did my undergrad at UC San Diego, where I think I took a lot of math and CS courses, like I think a lot of people here. I started to do some research. Well, I think my journey is a little bit weird, but I'm always trying to lock in to whatever I'm interested in. So starting maybe second year, I was trying to learn more about theoretical CS, but then I feel like it's probably not the right thing for me. Then I started to learn control theory, and then start to learn research about reinforcement learning and robotics. Later on, when I entered Brown, I think I pivot again and started working on natural language processing and system, which is something that I'm still working on today. So I think some people also ask me about like whether they should be exploiting what they're like really interesting right at the moment, or should they explore more. I feel like this is actually something that can happen at the same time. So I think you don't really have to have something that you're like seriously interested in right now, but at some point, if you feel like this might be something that's worth pursuing, just lock in and take more courses, interact with the people over there. And I think once I get into Brown, the first semester I spent a lot of time talking to some of the senior PhD student in the department. And I realized that a lot of the research group have um, these open group meetings where you can just walk in. You don't really need to talk to the professors in advance. Maybe you should, but like a lot of them, I just walk in and I can just hear what the PhDs are working on at the moment. I think the first one I joined was the one hosted by Professor George Conidary on robotics. And I was hearing a lot of people, they're discussing their research and their collaboration was probably Boston Dynamics at the moment, at that time. Then I went to Professor Stephen Bach's group meeting, and there I was able to talk to some people working on natural language processing, and I found this maybe a niche where I'm super interested in, and I kind of lock in and then started to interact with the group more and started my research career.
That's great. We're going to hear a little bit more about your research with Steve Bach in a minute. But I think the example you gave is a really terrific one because for two reasons. If you are coming to Brown with a very specific idea of what you think you're interested in, that's great. We also encourage you, as Nikos described, to take advantage of the flexibility in the degree to maybe explore another area while you're here and take advantage of this world-class faculty. But once you've settled on an area, then you can pack your course plan with all the relevant courses that kind of get you to that advanced level. The other thing that was really important about Jacob's experience was the openness and accessibility of not only faculty but PhD students. Tend to be welcoming of smart master's students like Jacob to engage in conversation and possibly do some joint work. So let's now, Jacob, talk a little bit more. I know you worked for a while with Steve Bach, and how did you kind of settle in on that direction? And then tell us a little bit in a little more technical detail of the work you did while you were a Brown student.
Sure. I think during the first week when I entered Brown, and perhaps during one of the orientation, I met this one PhD student from Steve's group, and we were just exchanging idea, and this senior PhD was definitely really open to my shallow understanding of the field, and he's still like really interested in giving me feedbacks and actually invited me to go to one of their group meetings and maybe just talk to more people over there. So that's how I know about Steve's group, and I think it was quite a shock to me because, well, previous experience has taught me that like these kind of uh openness or friendlessness is not that common in research, but apparently at Brown this is a pretty unique culture where people are just like they'd love to hear your experience, they love to hear what you're interested in, they definitely also wanted to include you in their research. So I'm very I think I'm really glad that I'm able to join their group meetings where I'm actually catching up on what the actual, maybe something that's more cutting edge in the field that I'm interested in, because I'm just given this chance to hear what the other PhD students are working on, and this is a really valuable chance. So I think I spent most of my first semester just listening and exchanging ideas, and maybe during the end of the first semester, the beginning of the second, I started to construct or like curate my own research idea, and I was talking to another PhD student again, see if he's interested in collaborating with me, and we ended up working together. So, yeah.
And just a sentence or two about the problem you were working on in Steve's lab.
Oh, so that project I started talking about was trying to understand what's happening within a language model. So I think that broadly belongs to explainable AI. If people who are really familiar with NLP, there's this field called mechanistic interpretability. Basically, we conduct experiment, open up the black box of AI, and trying to understand why something happened, why the model failed. And we take the insights from these experiments and see if we can, for example, do better safety training that, for example, prevent the model to fail in the same way and before. Yeah, so that was the research I was talking about.
That's terrific, and I suspect that resonates with a good number of the people in the audience. And so really just two more questions, maybe three. So you're at MIT. I know as you were wrapping up your time at Brown, you applied to a number of elite high-level PhD programs, got admitted to a good number of them, and chose MIT. You, I think, had some good success in leveraging your Brown experience. And just, if you know a little bit more about what you're doing at MIT, feel free to just add another quick sentence about that.
Okay. Yeah. Right now, I think I am pivoting a little bit, but I am still working on natural language processing, but now I'm looking at more from a system perspective where where we talk more about the orchestration, talking about the design of language model, talking about the architecture, talking about how are we incorporate language model into the more classical software engineering paradigm. So we're talking about how to design maybe compiler that compile programs where some of the functions are actually open a large language model API calls, something like that. And I think, yeah, I actually want to mention one thing is that so I feel like to do successful research, it requires more than hard working. Sometimes you really need you need a peaceful mindset. You need a good atmosphere in your lab. You need like friends to hang out maybe during the weekend or something. And I think having the experience at Brown actually teaches me how to develop this friendly environment or whatever I need for research at a new place at MIT, especially because I'm joining a new lab right now. I'm actually able to design the lab culture, and I'm actually intentionally designing it in a way that it reminds me of like the Brown lab, that's Steve's lab. So
That's a fascinating part of your current journey, and I think the point is that your Brown experience, in terms of your life outside of the lab and coursework, was full of relationships with other people and fun things to do. Is that right?
yes.
Terrific. One last question. I know you clearly had yet another advanced degree in your target, but your friends, many of them went off to industry jobs. What can you say about their experience in landing those good jobs?
Oh yes. So two of my very close friends, one of them went to Salesforce, one of them went to Geico, and they're all really happy right now. Apparently, I feel like they're happier than I am because maybe in terms of money, they're making a lot more than I am making right now. But yeah, so I think during the summer in between my first and second year, I did not take an internship, but I was like doing research on campus. But they are taking I think they are both taking industry. Some of my other friends are taking internship at Apple. One of them is actually working at Apple right now. One of them was taking this research scientist intern position from Meta. And now I think he worked for Cohere.ai. Yes. So I think a lot of them are decided to not to take the PhD degree and actually go to industry. And you can actually tell some of them prefer to take the more engineering oriented jobs. Some of them are actually taking research oriented job even without a PhD. So I feel like at Brown, you actually have the flexibility to design your whatever you wanted to pursue. Especially, I see that I think the requirement and a lot of the curriculum has changed since I entered school. It's becoming even more flexible, and you're allowed to take more classes from the other department. And I think that's actually something really exciting to me.
Fantastic. So we're going to keep you on the webinar in case any particular questions pop up that you can jump in on. But thank you very much for those comments. I think we can move to the next slide. Let me just say very quickly, most of my career was actually in industry. I've been at Brown for quite a while, but you can look at the color of my hair and know that I've been on this planet for a good number of decades. And one of the great strengths at Brown that I know will appeal to a number of our audience is the entrepreneurship ecosystem, if you will, that exists on this campus. It's fantastic, it's multidimensional, it's highly welcoming. And whether you have already embarked on your entrepreneurial career as an undergrad, which a number of you probably have, or come to Brown and discover that you do have some desire to, get an idea actually put into practice. The Nelson Entrepreneurship Center is the place to be. It's full of mentors and high quality staff and programming that will round out your education in entrepreneurship. There isn't a week that goes by that there isn't a visiting CEO or a visiting CTO or a visiting venture capitalist that's here on campus talking to both undergrads and graduate students. And as you can see on the slide, and I encourage you to go to their website to check out the programming that they have. They also have funding opportunities to get your idea off the ground, particularly in small teams that are formed around student groups here. I've had experience with Nelson as a mentor, and it's very rewarding for somebody like me who spent multiple decades as an entrepreneur. And I can tell the students are very engaging and enjoy the opportunity. So we'll leave it at that for now, but do check Nelson out if this interests you. Back to Victoria.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I've got some great information about Brown to share, and we'll sort of cruise through these pretty quickly so that we can get to the Q&A. I want to talk a little bit about our location. We're in Providence, Rhode Island. Rhode Island, like Nico said, the smallest state in the United States. Providence is a pretty small city, but very vibrant. We're on a river, really easy access to the Northeast. You can take the MBTA, the Mass Bay Transit Authority, the trains to Boston. We have Amtrak direct that goes to New York. You can drive to Boston in as little as an hour and 15 minutes if traffic is on your side. So if you're interested in having a really good launching pad to the Northeast, Providence is a great place to be. It's also a great place to be if you like restaurants, art. We have a lot of really great things to do in the way of culture here. We have Culinary Institute in the city, as well as the School of Design, who we partner with for one of our programs. So really vibrant, lots of stuff to do, and easy to walk around, which is fantastic, and lots of bike paths too. Here's a map of Providence and the neighborhoods that a lot of our students choose to live in, so you can see sort of the spread of Providence. Brown has a pretty wide footprint in the city, which is awesome for our students because you're able to explore quite a bit, different areas. But the campus spans a lot of College Hill. That's where the majority of your classes will be taken. That's where the computer science department is housed. We have graduate student housing available as well, both in College Hill and downtown in the Jewelry District. So if there's any other questions about things like housing or living in Providence, we can definitely follow up about that. We have a couple of webinars upcoming that cover these details a little bit more. At Brown, we have a ton of centers and offices who are here to help our students. I want to really highlight the Center for Master Student Excellence. The Center for Master Student Excellence is housed in the Division of Master's and Professional Programs, which is where I work. It's also where our student affairs and our career and professional development staff for our master's students are as well. One of the things that makes Brown really unique in the landscape of master's programs in the United States is that we have master's specific student resources. So we totally understand that as a master's student, you're only with us for 2 years, unlike an undergraduate student or a PhD student who are here with us for 4 or even 5 years for PhD students. So you really need to hit the ground running and have the support that you need to be successful while you're here. The Center for Master Student Excellence partners with the centers and offices that you see on the screen, as well as academic departments like computer science, to offer programming, social networking, academic programming as well. We're here to really help you get outside of the classroom and outside of your program to network and learn more about Brown. The Center for Master Student Excellence, like I said, here to assist our student affairs staff with academic counseling, connection to vital Brown resources, so things like our health center, if you ever have a need for accommodations in the classroom, really anything that might help make you be more successful while you're at Brown, the Center for Master Student Excellence student affairs staff are there to help you with that. We have really robust career support and professional development through the Division of Masters and Professional Programs as well. At Brown, we have sort of a layered approach to career support and professional development. So your department is an excellent resource, faculty, folks who've worked in industry, your fellow students who might have spent time in industry or internships, really excellent. Then the Division of Masters and Professional Programs, we are here specifically for master's students to assist with master's student career and professional development. We have STEM-specific career advising as well. I definitely encourage you to check out our master's career website, which I'll link through after we're done presenting. You can see a snapshot of what that looks like. Check out the career website so you can see what sort of opportunities might be available for you for programming. Our student affairs, our career services staff, they offer things from resume and cover letter writing, to mock interviews, to negotiating a salary package, a really comprehensive resources, as well as one-on-one counseling with our master's students. We also have the Center for Career Exploration, who puts on career fairs and recruiting events for folks who want to hire Brown University students. And then, of course, one of the great benefits of attending Brown University is you have access to our incredible alumni base who are very active with our current students. Talk through the application process as well. So I want to just take a high-level overview of the application requirements. We are going to require you to submit, of course, your transcripts. For the purposes of your application, we will accept unofficial transcripts. However, if you do end up matriculating at Brown, we will require you to follow up with official transcripts by the time you enter classes. One important note, especially for this time of year, is if you're a current undergraduate student in your senior year, we want to see your senior year coursework. So when you go to submit your application, submit it at the point where you're going to have some senior year grades, so that we can see the grades from fall of your senior year, as well as the in-progress coursework that you're planning for the spring of your senior year. That'll just help us sort of see the full landscape of the computer science coursework that you've taken as an undergraduate student. Of course, your CV or resume, which is going to outline your work and academic experience. We ask you a series of questions in the application in lieu of a personal statement. My piece of advice there is to answer the question. Don't just copy and paste from what would be your personal statement. Really take time and answer those questions specifically. The computer science department and the rest of us have spent a lot of time really trying to think through what do we want to hear from you specifically, and these is how we come up with those questions. So that's my tip for you for your computer science application. We require 3 letters of recommendation. We need all 3 letters of recommendation in order for your application to be considered complete. We can't review incomplete applications, so make sure that you are requesting those early. You're asking folks to submit them with all of the information that they need to write a competitive letter of recommendation. You should be asking for letters of recommendation from folks who've taught you in the classroom. If you've been out of school for a while, you might want to sub out one of those letters of recommendation for a professional letter of recommendation. But we really want to hear details about you, not just, this person did really well in my class. They got in the top 10% of grades. We want to hear about you as a member of an academic community, as a member of a classroom community. How have you shown that you will be successful in doing the work that's going to be necessary of you in a master's program at Brown? We already talked through some of the prerequisites, so just keep that in mind. I know I've gotten some questions about the application fee. We will waive the application fee automatically for anybody who attends this information session. If there's any questions about that, you can always, of course, reach out to me, but keep that in mind. As you're navigating the process, you should not be prompted for payment for your application. A note about standardized testing: we do not require the GRE for the computer science program. However, we do recommend if you've taken it to submit those scores to help round out your application. For folks who do not speak English as their native language, we do require you to submit English language proficiency exam scores. The only way to satisfy those requirements is through the TOEFL or the IELTS. That 105 and that 8 is a minimum score. You have to get at least those to be considered for the program. Keep that in mind as well as you're navigating the application process. We'll waive the TOEFL or the IELTS if you've attended or are attending an institution where English is the sole language of instruction. Next steps: start your application if you haven't already. Start to gather those materials once you know what programs you're interested in. Definitely join us for an upcoming event. I mentioned earlier, we have a ton of events through the fall to learn more about Brown. And then keep in mind that application deadline for fall 2026 is January 15th. You have up until 2 weeks after the deadline to complete your application. With that being said, I think we're ready to move on to the Q&A portion. I know we've answered a ton of questions already. It looks like we don't have too much left. Just one question about the GPA requirements, which we don't have a GPA requirement, but generally successful applicants should have at least a 3.0 GPA on a 4.0 American scale to be successful. That's not our average GPA. That would be like a floor. It's not that we don't consider applicants who have GPAs lower than that given in certain circumstances. I would say our average GPA is much higher than a 3.0 though, certainly. All right.
Are there any themes in the Q&A that you would want to summarize for the live audience?
Yes. So questions about funding and scholarships. I do want to sort of say that out loud since I know that that's a pretty common question. Thanks, Alan. We do offer scholarships to students. You will need to express interest in the application that you are interested in a scholarship. So as you're filling out the application, make sure you're checking off that box that you want to be considered for scholarships. But there's nothing in addition to that you need to do.
Just a quick addition to this. There are 2 types of scholarships. The need-based is exactly as Victoria explained. That one has to provide some short description about the specific circumstances that justify the need or describes best the situation. For the merit-based, it's something that every applicant is, it's automatically considered. There is nothing really in the application that one has to apply for.
Fantastic. Thanks, Nikos. A question about whether or not you can be automatically considered for the PhD program at Brown from the master's program, which I know you can't do. You have to apply separately for the PhD program, but does anything folks want to share about how students can position themselves while they're in the master's program to be successful for the Brown PhD program?
Right. I think, yes, there are two separate processes. So typically a student that will join our program, early on, we start engaging with faculty, perhaps starting working on a specific project with a faculty member, and it may be very soon obvious that there is a mutual interest in pursuing studies at the PhD level. In this case, still the student will have to apply typically, for the actual position, even if, the faculty member has a strong support, and of course, it's almost guaranteed. How often this happens, I think, I don't have numbers, unfortunately, but I think it's often. It does happen. It's one career path that I did not mention in my presentation, but it's certainly possible.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nikos. I'm just grabbing the link to the research from the slide deck for everybody, since I know that folks wanted to get that link shared to them. So that is now in the chat. I know we're almost to time. I'm going to put my email address in the chat so that folks can be in contact with us after the session and answer any questions that have come through as well.
I'm happy to answer these remaining questions silently, if this makes sense. I don't know if we really need to finish the session now, but what do you want, Victoria? What's best?
No, we can keep going. Sorry, I thought I booked a room that I thought people were trying to get into for 1 o'clock. So I think we're all set though. The next question is about, can you speak to the hardware robotics research and courses at Brown? Student didn't see the list of focus on an earlier slide, but there's notice that there were some things on the website about it.
Yeah, I think I don't have specific information other than we do have a strong robotics team. And in the first floor of our buildings, if you're lucky enough, you can see some very nice actual robots moving around. So, but other than that, unfortunately, I cannot provide any more insight as to the research. Please visit our web pages.
Jacob, is there anything you could add to that? I know you met with George early on.
Yes. I think Brown definitely have one of the richest lab in robotics. That explains a lot. You'll just, if you talk to their PhD, you'll realize that they have a lot more robots accessible to them, like robot dogs, actual robot arms, and a lot of the research are done on these like real robots instead of simulations. I think Brown's robotics is fantastic.
May I quickly take the other two?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, about the CPT, there are some formal restrictions around that, but a safe take-home message for this session is that in our program, once you find an internship, an offer for the summer in between these 2 years, or even for the first winter break, we will help you to get a CPT. In other words, to get the authorization for continuing and taking this job. I hope this answers the corresponding question.
Yeah, I think it does.
So what's next then?
For the CS recommendation letters, when we say 3 faculty recommenders are preferred, does a PhD student count if they've worked more closely with the PhD student in a lab rather than the director or professor?
In general, I would say yes. But even in this case, to be on the safe side, perhaps you should at least try to get the letter from the most senior in the group, that is the professor, the program director, or the PI. But yes, if there is no other option, even a letter at this level will be still useful.
There's one strategy you might take is, if it works in your case, is to talk to the senior faculty member on the project and make sure he or she is aware of your close collaboration with the PhD student, which the faculty member is free to consult to supplement his or her own letter and quote the experience of a highly qualified PhD student in the faculty member's letter. That would be the nice way to work through that.
Is there a GPA requirement for computer science and quantitative specific courses in the application process? Is there?
Again, I don't want to get into any details of the evaluation process, not only because this may not be to share, but more importantly, because individual cases can still be examined and fairly be assessed, right? But yes, we do take a look of the CS-related courses to better establish the adequate preparation of an applicant with respect to the criterion whether the prospector successfully completing our program is high. So yes, there is this distinction, but again, I cannot offer anything more than that. After all, GPA by itself, we don't have any strict caps, any minimum sets, right?
There is a question on the application that allows you to explain any particular events or circumstances that occurred while you were an undergraduate that might have possibly affected your academic performance, an illness, outside the responsibility that arose suddenly. So as part of the holistic evaluation process that Victoria alluded to, we will certainly take that into account.
By the way, just to inform those who are still with us, it's a large number. I'm happy to see that I just shared on the webinar chat the link that I mentioned earlier, those students who asked about some examples of research projects. There you can see the complete list of published projects. All right, next to the next question. Thank you for this. One follow-up question is what? Okay, things are a little bit more restricted with respect to work during semesters. There is the academic aspect that we think, after all, the default course load per semester is 2 because of the quality level and the requirements of our courses. There's the academic concern whether one could work on an internship and at the same time do well in the courses. But even despite this, we currently do not allow any part-time internships, only full-time, and therefore they cannot be hosted during a semester. That will be the answer for the CPT question. What is the department's opinion for using AI on coursework and research? This is an ongoing debate, and this is where we as faculty are challenged ourselves, and we need to be creative. Generally, individual courses have their own policy with respect to how this new technology can be used. So I don't think that there is a departmental level general guidance. The best approach is to be more specific at the course level, where the instructors, depending on their own learning goals, they will specify what is allowed and what is not allowed. I would assume that some courses that do relate to AI, perhaps they are completely open, if not even engaging, welcoming or requiring the AI use.
And we encourage you not to use AI to complete your application as well. Victoria, has there been any general guidance on that applicants here?
No, not necessarily. Although I echo Alan's point about not using AI to complete your application. So just, keep that in mind as you're navigating the process.
Oh, sorry about sending the link only to the host and panelists.
I took care of it. No
Yes.
worries.
But thanks, Pratham, for making the point. I appreciate that.
So I think that's all we really have time for today. If folks have any other questions, are of course more than welcome to follow up with us and attend upcoming information sessions as well. But I think we can leave it at that. Thank you so much for everybody joining us, and of course our wonderful panelists and everybody who's answering questions while on off video. All right, everyone, have a good one.